Hi, I'm Dr. Gary Kaplan. I'm Medical Director of the Kaplan Center for Integrative Medicine in McLean, Virginia. We're going to talk today about long COVID. Long COVID has been an epidemic. COVID itself was bad enough, but now we're left with somewhere between 14 to 25% of people who have had COVID with lingering symptoms that are not getting better. Long COVID being defined as anything persisting past 90 days, because actually a large number of people will still have symptoms up to 90 days but eventually resolve. Cognitive problems, difficulty, focus, concentration, energy, fatigue, sometimes quite crippling, problems with peripheral nerves in terms of numbness or burning pains that may be occurring, muscle spasms, generalized muscle pain, problems affecting the heart, problems affecting the lung, problems affecting the gastrointestinal tract. COVID can impact virtually the entire system. And it's not just adults, it's also kids. So we see the problem is worldwide, and we see the problem affects, in the United States alone, tens of millions of people. Recently, the NIH released a study documenting some of the changes that occur in our body as a result of COVID, and indeed found that many of these changes were very similar to what we're already seeing in our several million patients suffering with chronic fatigue syndrome. So what's interesting is that we're now documenting where people have been struggling for years trying to get acknowledgement by the medical profession about chronic fatigue syndrome and chronic fatigue and mental problems created as a result of different viruses and bacteria. We're now saying, oh yeah, actually that happens. The problem now is, how do you diagnose this and how do you treat it? The good news is we've been at it for about 20 years. When you come to the center, the very first thing we do is a very comprehensive history. We want to know actually when was the last time you were healthy. Frequently, the very first thing people do is they lie to me. They say, I was in great health until I got COVID. But then we start getting more history and we find out, well, you're now in your mid-20s or your mid-30s. Actually, you've had migraines most of your life. Healthy people don't have migraines, so why have you had migraines? You've had problems with fatigue, you've had problems with irritable bowel syndrome that have progressively gotten worse over time, but in the background, and you just kind of get used to it. Those pieces of information are extremely important to us so we understand what your basic health has been and how we get you back to optimal health. We also have a lot of different therapies that others don't necessarily have access to. So we're trained in integrative medicine. We're trained in utilizing a whole series of different types of not just medications, but things like IVs and exosomes in order to be able to address the underlying problems. We are trained in mitochondrial rehab in addition to helping with neurologic rehab. And so there's a lot that needs to be done in terms of putting together a comprehensive program to get you better. If you just focus on one part of the problem, you'll never get there. And so we take a very broad approach, we take a very comprehensive approach. We can't necessarily cure everyone who comes in here. I wish that were so. We're not there yet. We are, however, on the cutting edge of all of the latest data, and we're working as hard as we can to make sure that we not only stay up to date on that, but we find the best solutions for you. The message I want you to take home from this is hope. There is a path forward. There are solutions to these problems. We have found solutions when nobody else has been able to. Call the center, give us a chance, let us see if we can get you back to your optimal health. Our goal, and we know certainly your goal.